Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to another episode of Intuitive Creators Spotlight. I am Stella, your host, and in this playlist, I invite my beautiful guests, intuitive creators who embraced their paths and now are on a mission to help other people connect with themselves and with the world. Today, I have here with me the amazing Latasha. She is a self-discovery guide, a human design consultant, who is on a mission to help people slow down, reconnect with themselves, and create lives that are authentically aligned with who they are. Hi, Latasha. Welcome to this interview.
Hi, Stella. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Same here, same here. It's just a joy to connect with you. We've known each other for a while, and it's just a joy to see what kind of things you do for the world, how you bring people together. I think this is a really beautiful gift for the world. And I know that you've devoted more than 2 decades to supporting others. When did you know this is your path, to just connect with people and hold space for them? Was there a moment in time when you knew that's for you, or was it something that was with you since you're born, since you were a child?
Yeah, I really think it's been with me my whole life. I'm the oldest of my siblings, so I always had a role and like their caretaking and making sure they were okay, and I was always like a go-to person for them. So I They came naturally. I really feel like it's been since the beginning, as far as I can remember, that this is my role to help people.
And that's a beautiful role in this world, because it takes a lot of determination and motivation, and just a calling that you have to really listen to consistently. I think this is a commitment that you're not doing it for a day or two. It is a dedication to this kind of work. And so, how would you say that all of these years led you to what you're also doing now, a journey embraced? When did you know that it is time to up your game?
Well, it's been an interesting journey. So, like I said, I always played that role, like in my family, and then it extended to my extended family, where I was always the go-to person for those things. So much so that I made it my career. So I went into the social service field and did social work. I studied it, graduated, and I started working in that field. So in that field, no matter what the title was, my job was always to help people problem solve, help them overcome obstacles in their life, different barriers, so that they can kind of, elevate and grow and, become more self-sufficient. So I've always done that. But there came a period of time where I didn't realize how much that was impacting me, how much I was carrying, because I wasn't just carrying the weight of, my own problems. I was carrying the weight of everybody else's. And once I became a wife and a mom, that was additional responsibilities, and I dedicated everything to those roles, and including my role at work. So I was pouring into everybody else, and it was all building up. And in that process, I was like losing connection with myself. And so it kind of all came to a head when I was diagnosed with lupus. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. And when I was diagnosed, one of the factors that they emphasized was that stress causes lupus to flare, which means you're more symptomatic. You'll have more problems when you're under a lot of stress. And I felt like at that time, like, okay, how's this going to work? Because I built a whole life around stress. So I had to figure some things out. I started to work on myself, but it was like a moment where I didn't have any other choice. So I was working in social services. I'm dealing with this new diagnosis. And then I have two tragedies that happened with my clients where I lost two clients under some extreme circumstances. And that started to impact me. So I was having like nightmares. Um, one of the clients used to walk around the neighborhood. So I would, when I drive around the neighborhood, I would feel like I saw him, and he had passed away. So that was not possible. So I'm still working, I'm still, trying to help people, but I know I have this diagnosis. So I'm just like, it's just crazy because because I was carrying all this, it started to flare. So I was starting to have more symptoms and everything. So it came to a point where my supervisor was in my office, and she was just talking to me like normal. And I really couldn't hear what she was saying. So I'm like, what did you say? And she said it again. And I'm like, what did you say? I didn't hear you. And she said it again. And then that last time I was just like, okay. And then when she left, I immediately found a therapist. Like I just closed the door, sat in my office, and I found a therapist because I knew something was wrong, because I literally could not hear this lady talking to me, and she was right in front of me. So then I started working with this therapist, and she diagnosed me with acute stress disorder. Um, and I ended up going on medical leave during that time. And that was like the best thing that could have happened to me. I was on leave for 6 weeks, but that allowed me to slow down. That allowed me to like really reconnect with myself. That allowed me to see what are my needs, what is going on with me. That allowed me to be more present in my life. That allowed me to figure out different tools, modalities that help me feel good, that filled my spirit, that were my tools for wellness. And that changed my life. That changed how I operate. That changed how I move through the world. And I started to, once I returned to work, I had tools where I can continue to do the work that I love, but protect myself and still make sure that I'm well. And eventually that led to me starting a journey embraced. And the name of the company is based on the fact that we are going to go through these lives, and it's not always going to be smooth. There are going to be rough patches, but we have to learn how to embrace the journeys that we're on, and we have to learn how to curate them into what we want them to be. We have power. Everything doesn't just have to happen to us. We have power, and learning to take that power back, and learning to embrace your experience and understand that it doesn't have to be everybody else's journey. This is your journey, and you have control in it, and you can make it well, and you deserve fulfillment, and you deserve satisfaction. So that's where the title comes from.
Wow. And when you think back, and as you mentioned about those 6 weeks for you, like for the leave that you had after that incident, it sounds like it was a rock bottom. You hit the rock bottom. It's like you said, there was no, like, you didn't have any other choice. But isn't it so interesting how those challenging moments in life, those difficult times, they really teach us so much. And then you had this awareness of building a life around stress that really, really is so significant in this world that we're living, when everything is on the go, everything is busy and also stressful at the same time. When you see your clients or people you're working with at your job and in your business, how do you recognize when somebody built their lives around stress? What are the key things that you notice immediately?
One of the things I notice is that they have a hard time seeing beauty. They have a hard time seeing what is good. So one of the things that I do is I like to ask people what went well today, because a lot of times they can't see it because they are consumed by the stress around them, and a lot of times they don't think they have any power over it. They think they have power, it only has power over them. But it's not just a matter of managing stress. It's a matter of reducing stress, in your life, reducing the incidence of stress throughout, not just trying to like put a band-aid on it, eliminating some things so that it's less stressful. You can do things to redesign. Of course, there are things that we cannot avoid. There's some things that are just going to happen, but that's when your tools come in. That's why when it's important for you to have your own toolbox that you can reference in times of stress. But even prior to that, you want to start structuring your life in that way. So when people are, living in that space, it's hard for them to see beauty. When I'm working with somebody and everything they say, anything you say, they have something. There's a negative aspect to it. Yeah, I say it's a beautiful day outside. But it's so hot. I can't. I just can't even take it. Like they can't just stay in a space and sit with what is well. Yeah.
Mm, wow. Yeah. This makes us think. And thank you for mentioning this, because I'm sure everyone who's watching this episode will probably ask themselves, can I see beauty in things
Mm-hmm.
around me? Just to like check in with ourselves. And I think checking in with ourselves is so important every single day, because that's how we communicate with our body. That's how we communicate with our mind and soul and heart. And then that is how then we can create better connections with the world around us too. So when you mention the word toolbox, with all these beautiful tools to use, can you give us some examples, just in case somebody who's watching is thinking, can I just have one example, and what is it that I can start doing?
Yes. Well, I'm so happy you asked that question, because my approach to self-care is a little different, because I feel like it's very personalized. I don't feel like we all use the same tools. I don't feel like we're all meant to use the same tools. And I also feel like what someone may see as a self-care tool, somebody else may not see it that way at all. So after I described, my whole journey, getting to the place where I created a journey embrace, there were periods of time where I wasn't like taking care of myself the way I knew how to do now. I still was, coming back away from that. And so what I did was I was like, okay, I need to be more intentional about my self-care. And so I had created this one-page sheet for myself, like a checklist of all the things that I knew made me feel good, all the things that I knew that replenished me when I was feeling drained, or the things that help bring peace and calm to me. I kind of listed them on a piece of paper, and I was like, I'm going to be intentional about these things. And I like copy the paper, had a few, put them in a binder, and then every day I would like check off what things I did or what things I was going to do. And then I started calling those things my spirit fillers, because they filled my spirit. So I developed that, and it was like very personalized. So for me, some of those things are like I love like podcasts, audiobooks. um i like to I like fresh air. I like to go for walks. um there are just a variety of things for me. I like prayer, I like meditation. So but those things are specific to me. I am not one to say, do all of these things because they'll help you. I need you to figure out what those things are for you. um I like to wrap up in a blanket on my couch. Some people like, you don't lay on. I know we do not lay on the couch, but that for
Mhm.
me, that is very comforting. So yeah, so I did that. And then I just kept adding to it and adding to it. And then I ended up creating a journal called the Spirit Filling Journal. And so that is my personalized approach to self-care. So it allows people to walk through different 60 days of uh, questions to help you figure out what is your self-care, what is your spirit fillers, so that you can create your own spirit filling routine, because I truly believe it's personalized. I truly believe for some people, you know, massage, they love massage. That is, you know, something that is part of their formula. For me, not so much, you know, and that's okay. That is okay. For some people, you know, they may say, you know, you know, I love to take a, you know, walk on the beach or whatever. And some people are like, oh no, I hate, you know, the sand. And that is
Mm.
okay. So it's about figuring out what those things are for you. And you can start by what you already know, and then you explore, because there are things out there that you don't know that are going to fill your spirit. So start with you what you already know, and then explore.
Mm. And you know, I love your approach because I totally agree with you. It's not like one size fits all. And within everything that you shared, I absolutely think it's such an incredible idea for everyone to discover their own thing and make that list of things that make them feel good, like you did, or just to explore those things as well. And to everyone who's watching, if you want a starting point, you can absolutely check out Latasha's journal that she created. You will find all the links on how you can connect with Latasha in the description of this video. So make sure you check that out. And I know, Latasha, that in your journey, you at some point embraced another beautiful tool, which is human design, and you combine that with your intuitive self-care things that you're doing with the people who come into your world. Why did you want to introduce human design? Why was that important for you?
Well, when I was introduced to human design, it blew me away. The accuracy just blew me away. And what it did for me, it gave me the freedom to be myself. It allowed me to stop questioning, you know, why I do certain things that I do, and start to accept them as the way I design, and stop, because they're different from what other people do. I was able to stop looking at them as flaws, but understand that this is part of me. This is what I'm contributing, you know, to society. It's not, you know, a flaw. And so, for those who don't know, human design is a system that is based off of a few different systems. So it's a combination of the I Ching system, chakra system, quantum physics, you know, astrology. It's a mixture of a number of things, and it looks at your birth time, location, um, when you were born, and it creates a chart called a body graph chart, and it shows where like planet placements and things were at the time of your birth, and also 88 days before your birth. So you get this chart, and this chart is all about you. It just really goes into depth of, once you know how to read it, it goes in, you can see so many different aspects of you, and it helps you understand how you best make decisions, how you best use your energy,
Mm.
um, how it also helps you understand other people and get a better understanding of, like, for example, I'll give you an example. For me, I'm a single definition person. And what that means is that I process a lot of stuff quickly and on my own. That's how I best process, right? So if I'm going through something, I'm gonna do it internally, and then once I'm done, then I'll share, you know, with people or whatever. But my husband, on the other hand, he's a split definition. So with a split definition, they benefit from, they have to like connect that split. So they benefit from talking to someone else when they're processing. So that's important to know in a relationship, you know?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
important. That's very important to know. So I know that and once I got to know these terms and understood what they meant, I was blown away because that's exactly how we are in our relationship. That's exactly how we are. But now we can have acceptance from that for that because he can understand, well, she's gonna, let her go through her process. This is what she needs to do. She needs to just go inside and, kind of figure things out for herself, and then she'll come and share. And then I know now to make space for him to talk to me about the things. Don't just expect him like, oh, go figure it out. I know that that does not work for him. That's not how he's gonna, process the best. So yeah, that has been very helpful, and it helps with it can help with your self-care as well. It's definitely a tool for self-discovery. Everything I do is about self-discovery. um but it helps with your self-care in that process too, because for there's some human design types that are full of energy. They go 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 go, and then there are other human design types where they they're about working smarter, not harder. So they need plenty of rest, so it really helps you understand yourself in so many different ways, and understand other people as well.
And it can improve our relationships so much because I think in order for us to have clear and efficient communication with others, first we need to understand ourselves. And
Yeah.
then once we understand ourselves, we have to make the effort to want to understand others too. Because, like you said, you can't just tell your husband now, knowing that this is how he's processing information, just go and do things on your own. You'll just create that space. But it is so beautiful to just listen to these example, because it shows that instead of saying, oh, this person is annoying me again or whatever, especially during the COVID, how many breakups happened? Oh my God, how many things happened like that in relationships, a lot of chaos, because all we have to do is to do this effort to know ourselves and other people around us. When we make that effort every single day, because that's another thing, you don't just do this one meditation and then forget about it.
Right.
It's consistent work that we're doing every single day, and only then we can see changes, results, transformations as well. And so I know that you talk a lot about coming home to yourself. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So coming home to yourself is kind of being able to shut out the noise and understanding that you don't have to be like everybody else, and living in that, creating your life, creating a life that includes you. Because a lot of my audience includes people who, especially moms, who have kind of lost themselves to their roles and responsibilities. They've lost themselves to work and family life. So they're not incorporating themselves into that to-do list. They're not on that list. So, coming home to yourself is putting yourself on that to-do list, making sure that you are a priority in your own life, making sure your environment doesn't just represent everybody else, but it represents you. What are the things you want in your environment? What makes you feel comfortable? you know um Connecting with the type of communities, the type of people that feed you, not just take from you.
Mm.
So it's just paying attention to who you are and honoring that. And we are always evolving, so reconnecting with that, over and over again.
Rinse and repeat all
Mm-hmm.
the time. Oh, this is so profound and so important. And I'm glad that you mentioned the type of clients who usually come to you, because I think as women specifically, we can get so busy, and it's so easy for us to take on another task and another task and another task, and you think, I can do it, I can do it. And before you
Yeah.
know it, it fills up with so much weight, and it's so important to just stop for a moment, reassess everything, and learn, what do I need to change? And I know that you create these kind of spaces for some of your clients who come and enjoy your events. I would like for you to talk to us a little bit about your events and what would be some of the most common emotional shifts that you're witnessing for your clients during those events and after.
Yes. So, yes. So I create different events. So my goal is to create experiences of self-discovery and reconnection. And so I do that. One of the events that I have on a regular basis is I call it the Power of Pause meditation class. And it's more than a meditation class. We spend the beginning of the class in discussion and reflection on, a topic. So recently our topic was self-love. That was last night. We talked about self-love, and we just explore it. We allow people to share. We create a safe space for people to be vulnerable, and we provide, support. And then we do a meditation around that topic. So my goal with all the things we do is I should say my process. My process is always to help people slow down, reconnect with themselves, and then redesign their life in a way that feels more satisfying and fulfilling. And I feel like it's hard to do that if you don't slow down. So that's my process. So every experience that I create is going to touch on one of those aspects, either slowing down, reconnecting, and redesigning, or all three. So I also do vision board parties, vision board workshops that I call Vision and Vibes. And it is, again, more than just, putting images, on a paper or whatever, cutting out images. It's more than that. We go through a series of activities that are self-discovery activities. Because I feel like a lot of times we are like, okay, come up with goals, just come up with goals. But there's steps before that. There are things that we need to do before that to connect with ourselves in order to kind of figure out what those goals are. We need to connect with our feelings. Okay, what feeling are we actually looking for? We may not know the exact goal, but we know what we feel now, what we don't want to feel, and then we can connect with what feelings we are chasing. You
Mm.
know?
Yeah,
Uh,
and then it's a big difference between creating a goal like I really want to have a big yacht, for example, because I've seen it on an advert, and actually connecting with the energy of it, of like, what kind of experience do I want to have with it? Is this actually something I would enjoy? Do I even enjoy water or being on the water, or, all of this stuff? Because I think we can be distracted by so many things around us, what somebody else did, what kind of clothes somebody else had, experiences, and so
mhm.
on. And I love that you are including these steps before the creation of a vision board, because you don't want to just put those pictures without connecting with them energetically, because those things that then you put on there, they will never happen if you don't connect with them energetically. And I love the space that you create for your clients, because the process you're taking everybody through is so soothing and healing, and I think the world needs more of that. So thank you so much for the work that you do. And as we're wrapping up this episode, I'd love to ask you one last question. What would be one truth that you would want every person to take with themselves after working with you? One truth or one insight?
Your uniqueness is your gift. Your uniqueness is your gift to the world, and it's meant to be expressed. Don't waste your time trying to fit in somebody else's box or trying to be someone else. You are designed to be all of the things that you are, and it's not too much, you know, that uniqueness is your gift, and don't shut it down.
Mm. Wow.
And that I just want to say that that is why, another reason why I like human design, and one of my favorite things to do in my business is to do human design readings, because I feel like people feel free after them. They feel less restricted, and they just seem to love themselves even more, you know.
Mm. To give themselves permission to be who they are and embrace
Mm-hmm.
every part of it. And that's super precious. I know that you have done an amazing workshop, a masterclass in one of my communities, which was absolutely incredible. So to everyone who's watching us, please check out Latasha's links, know how you can connect with her for human design reading. Maybe you have any questions that you want to ask her, for her amazing journal, for her events. If you live close to her, again, check out her links and see where she is. And if you're new to our channel, please take a moment to subscribe, like this video, let us know your thoughts, and I can't wait to see you all again soon. Thank you, Latasha. Bye.
Thank you, Stella.